Welcome, my name is Kurt Mempel. I'm the product manager of Test Universe. In this short video, I would like to tell you about new features in this new version 4.40. We will have a look at the new hardware configuration. Do you sometimes need residual values in your test plan? This should become easier now. I will explain. And for those who do not have advanced Transplay and are using our Transplay tool for playback of Comtrade files, we have a brand new module for you that works with your existing license. For the new features for time synchronization using PTP, please have a look at the separate video. So let's start with the hardware configuration. Once you've opened the hardware configuration of a test plan, you see that it looks slightly different. At the top, you see the test set type currently used and its status. To go online with the device or to change the type, you would use the Choose button here. Below, for the voltage and current sources, we have changed from number of systems to number of signals. That means here you would just select the number of voltages and currents you would like to use for testing. In most cases, for most configuration, it is not required to go to the detailed configuration here. However, it may make sense to see a connection diagram. But you see here, for this number of voltages and currents, this is the only configuration available. If you want to test with only 4 currents, you would see here number 4 is not available, so you would stay with 6, and then on the analog output tab you could deactivate the 2 currents you do not need, and for the first current you could, for example, select the residual current. So now let's connect to the CMC. I click here and then I see the test sets available. The CMC 430 is directly connected via Ethernet to the notebook I'm using. I'm currently in the office and therefore I can see other test sets used by colleagues that are available somewhere in the network. In the lower part, I could select a test set for offline usage, for example, for designing a test plan. Now clicking OK, or first selecting the test set, clicking OK, I want to go online. However, I first get a warning message. The reason is that my test plan has been designed with a CMC 356 and was using 6 currents. Therefore, I get a message now that I would lose the currents, 3 currents mentioned here. So now I could look for an amplifier or adapt my test plan, or in this case, I just accept this change, losing these signals, and say OK. At this moment, you see the color here has changed, so I get a clear feedback that I'm now connected to the test set and online and ready for testing. Test Universe will automatically connect to the CMC test set last used. So if you are always working with the same CMC, you do not need to go through this Choose dialog again every time you do a test. On this tab, you may miss the options for definition of virtual I/O. This is not lost. We have just moved it to the corresponding tabs. That means on the binary input tab, you see here configuration of virtual inputs, and after selection, you can directly continue here with the configuration. Now, let's come to the next feature, protection testing using your residual signals. You see here the list of modules where we now also support residual signals with the new version 4.40. Accordingly, all modules that are typically used in OCC test plans now support these residual signals. And for all modules, the residual factor is now defined in the test object. And therefore, you do not need the workaround we have offered so far anymore. If you had such a configuration for residual signals, where they are automatically calculated but not visible in their analog outputs, our recommendation would be to change this configuration to 4 and to 4 or a number bigger than 4, and then in the analog output configuration make these signals visible. Select VN and IN here, and no need to use the additional signals, and apply this configuration. this gives various advantages and is our recommendation. We have kept the old configuration just if you want to retest existing test plans. Now, last not least, let's have a look at the new Transplay module. To be honest, it's not a really brand new module. We just have integrated a standard mode into advanced Transplay, and the standard mode just requires the normal Transplay license. So in case you want to use it, just change here to standard mode. You see the layout changes a bit, no assessment conditions anymore, but you can use this to replay a ComTrade file, record signals, binary inputs that are there, and at the end do a manual assessment passed if everything is fine. And of course, as it's now a module, you can use it in your OCC test plan. I hope you have enjoyed the short overview. If you are using time synchronization with PTP, please have a look at the other video for all the new features. We did quite some more things with the new release, bug fixes, improvements, and so on. If you're interested, please have a look at the What's New document. Thank you and have a nice day.